Hello everyone, my name's Jeff Ingram from Samsung Canada.
And I'm Dan Greenskull Hamill, and I'm a content creator and a big gamer. At the Consumer Electronics Show, we saw the Neo QLED 8K TVs.
Yeah, we're really excited about the next generation of our 8K televisions. Obviously the design, picture quality, you're going to get it all with this brand new 8K TV.
And we have a special offer today only, so be sure to hit that link. And Jeff, I'm heading to the living room right now to go check it out.
All right, sounds good, Dan. All right, so definitely we're excited. We're going to talk about the design of the product. We're going to talk about the picture quality and the quantum dots and how they can really make that picture pop. And of course, we're going to talk about a lot of other great features, especially gaming and how you can get the most out of your gaming experience. So I'm going to head over, see Dan, and let's get started.
So this thing is massive and beautiful. It's awesome to me that TVs of this size are now so much more affordable. Like, it's awesome.
Hey Dan.
Jeff, how's it going?
Oh, awesome. What do you think so far?
Unbelievable, for one, obviously. I had a question for you.
Yes.
Why 8K? I have a 4K TV at home, so should I upgrade?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the purpose of 8K is, resolution is important, but it's more about the pixels per inch. So when you're watching content, you want more detail and sharpness. So by having more pixels within any given area, you're going to create that depth of field, that sharpness. You're going to feel more immersed in the viewing experience. So yes, resolution is important, but it's more about the pixel per inch, especially when you're talking about a large screen size. And look how close we're sitting. We're literally only about 6-7 feet away.
Yeah, it's awesome. A lot of content I have at home, though, I'm thinking streams specifically, a lot of streamed content is still in 1080p. Some of my games are in 4K. So what happens there then? Is there upscaling?
Yeah, that's important. I think until more native 8K arrives, people are going to be watching all kinds of content, whether it's their old videos, Blu-rays, streaming content. So the important thing to remember is that with Samsung, we have AI processing that's going to be able to upscale the image. So you're always going to get a close to 8K experience, regardless of the content you're watching. So that, you're going to enjoy maybe movies and games and the streaming videos that you watch, almost even better quality than you've ever experienced before.
Yeah, that's fantastic. As a content creator myself, something I'm very familiar with is that video is only 50% video. The other side of that's audio. Audio is incredibly important, and I have a Samsung soundbar at home myself, and I can't escape it. I think about it seriously. Like I'm on other setups, and I have to come back and I gotta listen to this. I gotta play here. So what has Samsung done to innovate audio? Yeah,
it's important. George Lucas said that 50% of the experience is audio, and of course, we have a lot of features in our TV. Now, even though you may not use the sound bar, just from the television, we have speakers placed, depending on the model, either on the sides of the TV, at the top, and we have features like object tracking sound. And what that means is, this would appeal to you, is that if some of the action and the noise or the volume starts on the right bottom corner and goes across the screen, you want to feel like that object is tracking right across, especially on a 75-inch or an 85-inch screen size. So, object tracking sound. How have you enjoyed the soundbar so far that you've been using?
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah, and I've certainly noticed that how it fits my space. Yeah. Just the boom of it, especially playing video games. This is my thing. I'm a big gamer, and just, oh man, when I'm running around environments, how immersed I am. It's such a fantastic feeling.
And it's important to remember that when you attach a soundbar to the television, yes, the soundbar is going to be a much better experience than a TV. Now, what you got to remember though is that with Samsung, we can actually have both of those devices working together in unison with a feature like Q Symphony. What that means is, not only are you going to get great sound from the soundbar, but you're also going to utilize the speakers on the TV as well to create a more immersive listening experience, so that those games you're playing are going to feel even more realistic, whether it's behind you, the side, or even directly above the television.
So I've found myself playing with the features, the smart features on my TV, even what seems simple, like plugging in a USB stick and how functional that is. There are a lot of cool settings. I like to tweak things myself. I love getting everything just right. I find myself going in there just to play with it sometimes. And so what can we see with the 8K Neo QLED models?
Yeah, you know, it's a good point. You know, when people think smart TV, they think, oh, does it have my favorite streaming services like Netflix and Apple and Amazon and YouTube? Yes, the apps are important, and we have all the favorite applications that people want to enjoy, including even a health application, help keep you stay in shape. But even something like you just mentioned, attaching a USB where you have maybe content, or even a mobile phone to be able to screen mirror, whether it's 4K or 8K content, which a lot of our devices can record in, you can screen mirror that directly to the television. That adds a whole nother element of the smart experience. And even smart things, to be able to turn on lights in the living room or turn on a scene maybe when watching your favorite movie. So there's a lot of aspects of smart beyond just the apps, USB, but also the interactivity with smartphones, a multi-view experience where you can actually have your mobile phone on the TV while you're watching your favorite content as well.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Going back to audio a bit, I was playing with Dolby Atmos, and especially games that support that. As I mentioned before, even that the surround nature of it and some of the simulations it performs is incredible to me, right? It's just something you really need to experience to fully understand what that is. So I'd love for you to talk to me about Dolby Atmos.
Yeah, Dolby Atmos is important. You know, it's a well-known codec that creates a really great sound experience. Not only, let's say, from speakers coming directly to you, but using rear speakers. And the part that really makes Dolby Atmos awesome is that feeling like things are happening above you as well. So we have sound bars that will reflect off the ceiling, but our TVs also have upfiring speakers. So even if you're not using the sound bar, you can use the upfiring speakers from the television to create a Dolby Atmos experience. And the thing we added for 2022, let me ask you, in your home, when you have your soundbar connected and everything else connected, what does the wire mess look like when you're sitting there watching a movie?
Yeah, I'm notoriously bad for cable management as me, but I mean, my personal, you know, I am happy to see with now my Samsung TV, you know, I look in my office and there's a mess there, and I look out here, and that whole setup was so cool to me. It's just like those single, like it's a power cable.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing we recognize is that people want to minimize that clutter, and whether you're mounting the soundbar, but we do have, again in 2022, Dolby Atmos wireless. So now you don't even have to have that HDMI cable running from the television to the soundbar. You minimize the wire clutter. You don't have to worry about holes in your wall, or, you know, it can be a mess. But we're going to simplify it. We're going to keep it easy. We're going to keep it simple. And, you know, having Dolby Atmos wireless, that's a first for us, and I think an exciting feature that a lot of customers are going to be able to relate to and enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely. And as I said again, once you experience that, once you hear it, you're like, I'm sold. Like, get it. This is incredible. How can I live without this anymore?
Yeah, and you know what? You look at streaming services that are delivering some great content, almost like you'd almost think that they belong in a movie theater, but you're going to be able to enjoy it at home. Some of those big blockbuster, I would say, streaming TV shows, you want to replicate that experience. So having things like a soundbar, using the feature like Q Symphony, Dolby Atmos, you want to experience like you would at the theater, and certainly on a large screen size, like an 85-inch screen size we have here, you're going to get that experience. And I know you enjoy going to the theaters, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's and again, now my TV is now 75, and already, I mean, looking at this one too, it's even bigger. It's, it
sounds like you have to upgrade, going from 75 to 85.
I needed an extra 10 there. It's totally. But I mean, visually though, I mean, even mine's amazing. But I'm looking at this and just the bezels on this and just how it fits. And you were talking about the wire clutter before. Like this environment I'm even looking at right here, how clean it is, not even just in the picture, but what's outside the picture, because that's important too, because that lives in your home. You see that all the time. You see that when guests come over, and I think it's really interesting.
Yeah, you know, you bring up a good point, that the design is important. So we got a couple features. One, when you look at it physically, the bezel or the trim around the edge of the screen is almost non-existent. So it feels like it's all picture. It's almost like you're looking out a window. And the depth, how thin the TV is. So that's going to be great for maybe a customer that may want to wall mount it. And you don't want it sticking out from the wall. You want it to be as close to the wall as possible. So we have accessories like an ultra slim wall mount that you can get it, literally hang it up like a picture frame and get it so close to the wall that it almost blends in with the room's decor. And we also have an exciting feature like ambient mode. You just mentioned about having friends and family over. I don't want to look at a big black rectangle on my wall. So a feature like ambient mode, you can actually set it up. You can customize it with your maybe own photos. Maybe some of your logos and some of the gaming things that you really enjoy. You can have that on when not watching TV and friends and family are over.
Yeah, that's a great idea and something I think is just going to continue to be utilized moving forward. Now that it's like, who doesn't have a TV, right? Like that's it's a part of your living room. It's a part of your environment, especially in, I'm in downtown Toronto, a little smaller space, right? That is something, it's so present. It's such a present thing in my space that I just want to have something going on there. So it's a great idea.
Bring up a good point about, the space that you're living in. And with the TVs being so much slimmer and a little less bezel, people might start thinking, well, I don't have enough room for a 65 or a 75 inch. But remember, the TV that you may own already may have a really wide bezel. It might be quite thick and sticks out from the wall. TVs are so much slimmer. There's next to no bezel. So that maybe 65 inch that you have in your home right now, you can upgrade to a 75 or even potentially an 85 inch and still kind of make it look natural, not overwhelming. So a lot of options from a design perspective there from Samsung.
Well, Jeff, I hear there's a gaming setup over there, and you know me.
Yes.
I can't resist that, so I'm going to go head over there and check that out.
All right, I'll be there shortly. All right, everyone, you got to take advantage of this promo. It's for today only. Now, I got to go get to Dan because I'm not that good of a gamer and I need every bit of help to get there before he does. Hey Dan, how's it going? How's gameplay here?
Fantastic. I mean, this just looks incredible. 120 frames on a TV, that just blows my mind.
Yeah. No, I've played it numerous times and I just still can't believe the resolution, the clarity, like, oh my God, it's almost lifelike, to be honest with you.
And I know you're obviously not as of a hardcore gamer as I am. You're a little bit more casual.
I'm definitely the casual
You're the casual on the couch.
Yeah.
But typically you'll see hardcore gamers. I mean, like myself. I play console, but I also play a lot of PC. And I think that's important, especially. I mean, PC now. People are even playing PC on TVs. It's increasingly popular.
Yeah, and I think whether you're hardcore or you're casual, we both expect the same thing. I mean, the picture's got to look great, the clarity, the immersiveness, the sound quality. I don't think it matters what level of gamer you are, but we want the same thing. We want the best experience possible. So I really believe that's what Samsung delivers for every type of gamer.
And especially as 8K gaming is a thing now, it's got to look incredible on this.
Yeah, that's great to hear because that's the one thing when it comes to 8K content, people are asking, okay, where is the native 8K content? And we know that there are some PC games that are delivering the 8K experience today. And that's important for people to be reassured when they're buying a TV for gaming, they're going to get that native 8K content. Now, for myself, I'm an Xbox user, so I still want to enjoy that clarity and sharpness. So again, we talked about it earlier about the AI processor upscaling to near 8K quality and adding more pixels for those larger screen sizes. So, definitely a benefit of having both native 8K and any type of game console and up converting as well.
And people like myself will have essentially all the consoles plugged in to these TVs. And I hear there's a neat new upgrade.
Yeah, we've got a couple things. So the first of all, we have for the PC gamer, we have the ability to output or to receive a signal 4K at 144 hertz, which is unheard of in the TV industry. So we're going to offer that for that PC game user. Now, you mentioned also I know you have multiple game consoles. So the more game consoles you have, you want to make sure that HDMI 2.1 or 4K at 120 frames per second is going to be supported on all 4 inputs. We have that. So, you know, for models Q80 series in the QLED, as well as all of our Neo QLEDs, we're going to have all 4 of those inputs supported. So that's great news for those gamers like yourself.
Switching between different inputs, like that is honestly massive. I love that. It really excites me. That's fantastic. Just different consoles, PC. That's so awesome.
Yeah, and for sure, we want to make sure that that gaming experience is going to be pleasurable, whether you're a PC gamer, whether you're a console user, and then of course, you know, the next step is cloud gaming as well. And I know you're into cloud gaming as well. What's your opinion on cloud gaming, where it's going right now?
It's increasingly viable. You know, I was there for the Genesis of it. I remember when it was an idea, right? And now it's great. It's really, really cool. I'm excited to see, especially where it's already great, where it's going in the future.
Yeah.
I hear you guys are cooking something up there. Do you need any kind of special controllers for that or anything?
Yeah, so good question. We will have Game Hub available very soon, where you can take the cloud gaming experience to a whole nother level. And you mentioned about the game controllers. Now, you can use really any type of game controller, from your Xbox, your PS controller. So a lot of flexibility in terms of compatibility. But the benefit is, you know, having the grandkids go to grandma's house. She's upgraded her television. The kids are going to be able to game on the cloud-based, you know, the gaming hub from Samsung. So that's a nice, convenient feature. And even for someone like yourself, you know, just sitting down, pick up the controller and you can have access to the game
I've
hub.
legitimately done that. All right, I've legitimately been somewhere and been like, man, how can I bring my console with me, and you don't even need to anymore.
Yeah.
It's what a world we live in.
Yeah, you'll be going to your friends when they get the new TVs with a game controller in your pocket. Yeah, I can see
That's
that.
gonna be great.
Yeah.
A feature I love about my TV at home is the game bar, and I hear there's a few updates to that as well.
Yeah, you know what? One of the things that gamers want to see is making sure that all the settings are set up. They want to make sure that the frames per second, HDR is on. A lot of times they just want a quick view. So when you press play pause button for about 2 seconds, the game bar is going to come up with all the relevant information. But not only that, you can start making some adjustments or changes to some of the settings. So we have you know, the type of game you're playing to change the picture settings. We have the ability to change the aspect ratio. So if you're connected to a PC, you can do 32:9, 21:9, or 16:9 aspect ratio. And because of that, you know, let's say a 32:9, you have that ultra wide view. You're going to be able to see the enemies hiding in the corners. And now with that feature on, you do have some unused space. So we've added a feature called map zoom. And that's going to allow you to basically zoom in that little map in the corner and expand it and have a big highlight at the top where that unused space is. And you're going to be able to see where you're going at all times. So a cool little feature that is going to give you a competitive advantage because you're always looking at the map, right?
Yeah, that's such a neat idea. Like that concept, I couldn't have come up with that.
Yeah.
I love that idea.
Yeah, it's Samsung's always thinking about improving the gaming experience, and you always want quick access to make those changes, to make sure everything is actually working correctly, making sure your HDR is on. So having that little feature can be very beneficial for a lot of gamers like yourself. All right, Dan, I gotta ask, as a hardcore gamer, what are some of the things that you look for in a TV display that's going to optimize the gaming experience?
First thing that comes to my mind is frame rate, frames per second. Frames per second is incredibly important. I mean, that's the difference between winning and losing, especially in fast-paced action games, multiplayer games, especially incredibly important. Same goes with latency. You want low latency for the exact same reasons, right? You want every number matters there, right? You want a high frame rate, you want a low latency, and you will inherently be better than your opponent for that, as well as HDR. HDR is something that needs to be seen to be believed. Once you see it, it's hard to not have HDR anymore. It just looks incredible.
Yeah, the HDR experience is about that realism, the ability to, you know, not only be able to show shadows and detail in dark areas, but those bright spectral highlights as well. The other term that I hear a lot about is variable refresh rate, or VRR. Is that important as well?
I think it's absolutely important. You really want that high quality picture without sacrificing anything, right? You don't want screen tearing, you want to avoid that. You want it to just look good and consistent, right? Consistency is so important to the hardcore gamer, and that's exactly what that is.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, you know what? Thankfully, Samsung has you covered on all those ends. So we perform exceptionally well. In fact, Samsung's been renowned as one of the best gaming experience you could possibly get. And certainly with the 2022 features that we've added, I think we're going to enhance that experience as well. Now, I also got to ask you about screen sizes as well. When you're shopping for, let's say, a new display technology, is there a particular screen size that is beneficial for the type of games that you're playing?
I think the answer is nuanced. It's really what you're after. Between what you're playing, how you're playing, what your environment is like, right? Obviously you want to have it fit your space and work nicely there. Sometimes having just an increasingly large screen looks incredible for the right kind of game. Sometimes you want to go a little smaller to fit your space and your play style. Yeah, I think it's nuanced.
Yeah. No, I know for me, you know, when I play the types of games that I play, like FIFA, NHL 22, I love the fact the gaming experience feels so real, yet, you know, when you're looking at the view, sometimes the players on a smaller screen sizes can be difficult to see the moves that you're doing in front of the net, for instance. So for me, I think I'd like the bigger screen experience, the 75-inch, 85-inch, and I can really get a full layout of where my players are on the field or on the ice. So for me, it's the big screen, but I can certainly understand that different types of gamers, where you're situated. But again, we have them covered. You know, on the ultimate gaming experience, on the QN90, we have a 43 and 50 inch. That's going to give you that ultimate gaming experience. But of course, for those larger screen sizes, the QN900 is going to give you the best gaming experience on the large screen as well.
You mentioned seeing the smaller players. I have the 75 at home, and playing a puzzle game on a 75, a stationary game where I'm looking at individual little puzzle pieces and moving around. Was incredible. It was awesome. It was so cool to really have this. Like, I felt like I had a ton of tiny little different monitors because there was just so much real estate for it.
You know, it's unbelievable what, you know, types of features gamers are looking for. You know, there's a lot of tech information. There's a lot of, you know, screen size choices, you know, resolution. But I do, you know, like I said, at the end of the day, it's all about getting a great experience. Whether it's a hardcore gamer like yourself or a casual gamer like me, I think we both want the best of everything a TV display has to offer. And, you know, thankfully, I believe Samsung truly is the best choice for customers when it comes to the gaming experience.
Yeah, and I legitimately vouch, right? Like, it's so cool to finally see you guys get it, right? Like, it's for see anybody get it. See companies be like, oh yeah, you're making something for me. When I play with these features, when I experience my games, I'm like, this is, oh yeah.
Yeah, and you know what?
You're hitting the nail on the head.
The one thing that I did, you know, I thought about is that, you know, when people think of gaming, it's, you know, there's a certain age, it's for teenagers and whatnot. But I think, you know, from my 10-year-old son to my neighbor across the street who's in his mid-40s, gaming is for all age groups, and I think all those age groups want a TV that performs well.
Yeah, absolutely. So we talked about a ton today. I have learned a ton. I hope everybody watching has learned a ton.
Yeah.
How would you summarize? What are your favorite points of today?
So we've covered a lot of things. I think for me, you know, when you're looking at a Samsung television, especially when you look at Neo QLED, it's about a TV that has a complete experience. So from design to the gameplay that we just finished talking about, to smart features, and it's not just about applications. It's also about, you know, how your TV interacts with your mobile device. You know, plugging in devices like USB drives. It's also about, you know, picture performance. Let's face it, the biggest thing why you're upgrading your television and you're buying Samsung is you want that color purity. You want that HDR performance. You want to make it feel like you're actually watching a cinema, the way the director intended, or a movie the way the director intended. So all of those things are great features. It's about a complete TV experience. So we're excited to deliver that, and certainly with 8K resolution, man, the image just looks real regardless of what you're watching.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Don't forget, there is a special promotion today only, so be sure to hit that link. Jeff, Thanks for having me. I learned a lot. I had a ton of fun.
It was a pleasure, Dan. Thanks for coming. And for all of you, I hope you enjoyed today's experience. You know, I gave you guys a lot of information. Certainly, we talked about a complete TV experience with Samsung, from gaming to design to picture quality. I hope you enjoyed it, and I look forward to talking to you guys soon. So thank you very much. All right, Dan, you got to show me some tips on how to elevate my gaming. I'm getting smoked every time I play, and I want to learn how to beat my competition. So
Let's go.
What do I need to know?
I'm not going anywhere. Take some notes. You gotta move fast, play fast. It's all about outsmarting your opponents.
So what do I do? What do I need to do? I need to gain, like, my aim. Is it my aim? Is it my speed? Is it what? What do I need to do?
All of the above. It's all reaction time. You gotta get your sleep. Get a good 8 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
Very important every night.
Put in
Sleep
the hours.
More, game better.